Have you ever felt like you're living life on someone else's terms? Like no matter how hard you try, you're stuck following rules, expectations, and values that don't truly feel like your own? Like you're playing a role, but deep down, you're not free. That feeling, that invisible prison of trying to please others, fearing judgment, and hiding your true self. Nietzsche called it slave morality. But what if I told you this morality that's been shaping your decisions, your identity, and your fears is actually a trap? A trap that keeps you small, dependent, and powerless. And more importantly, what if you could break free and create a life that's truly yours? Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most radical philosophers of all time, saw this clearly. He ripped apart the comfortable lies of society's moral codes and dared to challenge the very foundation of what we think is good and right. In this video, you'll learn what slave morality really means, why it holds you back, and, crucially, how you can escape it to reclaim your power and authenticity. If you're ready to stop living a life scripted by others, this is your guide to becoming the author of your own destiny. So, what exactly is slave morality? Nietzsche introduced this term to describe a value system created by those who are oppressed, weak, or powerless in society, the slaves, as a way to cope with their situation. This morality values traits like humility, obedience, meekness, and self-denial. It praises self-sacrifice and condemns pride, ambition, and power. On the surface, this might sound like traditional virtues, especially if you grew up hearing that being good means putting others first and avoiding conflict. But Nietzsche argued that this is a form of resentment, a deep psychological reaction by those who cannot achieve power or greatness, so they devalue those qualities and elevate their own weakness as good. Think about it. When you're constantly told that your ambition or desire to stand out is selfish or wrong, you start doubting yourself. You suppress your real wants and play small to avoid judgment or punishment. This is the trap. Slave morality convinces you to sacrifice your own life, dreams, and individuality to fit into a mold created by others who benefit from your compliance. Living under slave morality creates deep, often invisible problems. First, there's the loss of authenticity. When you're constantly trying to live by someone else's rules, you begin to drift away from your own truth. Your real desires, values, and identity get buried. You no longer act from your essence, but from fear of judgment. Second, there's the fear of freedom. Nietzsche believed that true freedom is terrifying because it demands radical responsibility, no one else to blame, no moral code to hide behind. Slave morality offers safety through clear rules and expectations, but that safety comes at the cost of your independence and power. Third, it fosters perpetual victimhood. It teaches you to see yourself not as a creator, but as someone who must endure, patiently, passively, always waiting, never acting. Suffering becomes a badge of honor instead of a call to change. And finally, stagnation. Slave morality glorifies obedience and punishes individuality. It rewards conformity, not creativity. So you stop growing. You shrink yourself to fit in, and that shrinking is mistaken for goodness. Nietzsche contrasted slave morality with what he called master morality. Master morality is created by the masters, those who define their own values, who are strong enough to say yes to life on their own terms, regardless of what society thinks. Here, good means strength, creativity, courage, and self-mastery. Evil is weakness, dependence, and herd conformity. Nietzsche's message is not that you should oppress others, but that you must stop oppressing yourself. You must stop living by rules designed to keep you small. This leads to his famous idea of self-creation, becoming who you truly are by rejecting externally imposed morals and crafting your own value system from the ground up. This path is not easy. It means embracing conflict, solitude, and sometimes suffering. But it also means discovering your authentic self, the you beyond the masks and expectations. This ties directly into existentialism, which asks, how do you find meaning in a world that doesn't give it to you? How do you live authentically when life often feels absurd or indifferent? Nietzsche's answer is radical responsibility and courage. You cannot wait for an external savior, a god, society, or anyone else, to give your life meaning or purpose. Instead, you must become the creator of your own meaning. Even if this means facing loneliness, fear, or existential dread, that is the price of true freedom. To Nietzsche, it is better to live a difficult life of authenticity than a comfortable life of conformity. So how do we begin to live this philosophy? How do we translate these powerful ideas into the fabric of our actual lives? This isn't a checklist, but a series of profound shifts in perception, a new way of seeing yourself and the world. Here are 5 gateways to your own liberation. First, you cultivate the power of the detached observer. Slave morality operates on autopilot, disguised as your conscience. The first great shift is to stop accepting your feelings as commands and start observing them as information. When that familiar pang of guilt or obligation arises, the liberated mind doesn't just obey, it pauses, and it asks, where does this voice truly come from? Is this my own wisdom, or merely the echo of an old rule I never agreed to? You're not fighting the feeling. You are simply stepping back and observing it with a newfound clarity. That observation is the beginning of your power over it. Second, you dare to commit intellectual treason. Some virtues are treated as sacred, beyond question. But the second act of courage is to put these so-called truths on trial. It means daring to ask if humility is sometimes just hidden fear, or if what we call selfishness is really just protecting your own well-being. You start to see that good and evil aren't universal laws. They're ideas made by people. And if others created them, you have the power to redefine them for yourself. Third, you change your relationship with discomfort. Most people chase comfort and safety, but you begin to see something deeper. All growth, strength, and creativity come from challenge. Discomfort stops feeling like a threat and starts to feel like a part of the process, like resistance that helps you grow, the way muscle builds under strain. This isn't about chasing pain, but about no longer avoiding life's necessary struggles. It's the quiet choice to have the hard conversation, to take on the big goal, to pick growth over ease. Fourth, you take on the ultimate creative act, becoming your own lawgiver. Breaking free from rules set by others is only the beginning. The real work is creating your own. This is when you stop just questioning and start creating. You begin to decide what a meaningful life looks like for you. You ask, what does courage mean in my situation? What does success look like if I'm not following someone else's script? What does it feel like to live with integrity from the inside out? You start to shape your own inner compass, and with it, a clearer, more authentic way to move through the world. And finally, you rise from character to author of your story. This is the deepest transformation, the moment you let go of victimhood and take full ownership of your life. It's a quiet but powerful shift inside. The mind stuck in victim thinking asks, why is this happening to me? It looks for someone to blame, but the free mind, the creator's mind, asks, what will I do with this? That question changes everything. It moves you from being someone life just happens to into someone who shapes their own path. You're no longer just living, you're creating your life. The journey out of slave morality is the journey to your own authenticity, your own power to say yes or no to life's challenges on your own terms. It is the path to becoming what Nietzsche called the Übermensch, the overman, the one who creates values, who rises above herd thinking, and who shapes their own destiny. You will feel stronger, more alive, and more connected to yourself than ever before. You may lose some people along the way, and that's part of the process. Not everyone can handle your transformation, but the relationships you build from this place will be deeper and truer. If you're ready to stop living by other people's rules and start creating your own life, write in the comments, I'm breaking free from slave morality. Let this be your declaration, your first step toward radical freedom and authentic living. Remember, the world may have tried to break you, but you can awaken through your courage, your self-creation, and your strength. You are not a victim. You are the master of your own fate.